You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio, WZYE 95.9 FM.
Please deliver us today. We just can't hold this can't go on. We just can't go on this way. No, we just can't go on. We just can't go on this way. No, we just can't go on. Oh Lord, why Lord must we suffer like this? You said that you will take care of the poor, just like you did in Egypt. When Pharaoh had the Israelites in bondage, you delivered them. But here again, we are in the same khaki pants. We have those modern Pharaohs who oppress the poor, who represents Israel. They confuse us with so much lies. Not even thinking that we will realize. And if we criticize, we could be ostracized. We don't know who to trust. That's why I say, Lord, please listen to this prayer that comes from the poor. Please send us another Moses again. Oh, we just can't go on this way. Please deliver us today. Time to make them oppress us pay. So the children could see their way. Make them get on their knees and pray. Never be able to touch them pay. Just can't make it this way. Please deliver us today. Be like the Israelites did today. Please send us another Moses again. No, we just can't make it this way. Yes, deliver us today. Must we get old and gray? And the children can't see their way. Oh, we just can't make it this way. Oh, we just can't make it this way. We like the Israelites living there. Please send us another Jesus again. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, 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 oh. Oh, oh, oh. Oh, 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 Lord, we just can't go this way. Lord, we just can't make it this way.
You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio, WZYE 95.9 FM. Listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey. The most influential name in Caribbean radio. WZYE 95.9 FM.
Right about now, ladies and gentlemen, we like to move on with Calypso Spectacular. And the next performer coming up on stage, this man last year had a song about hooting in the dirty and the hole in the dirty. 1995, the amount of bills they passing in Parliament, he said they only sitting. Look, if you have tight tongue, be careful what you say. The name of the song, Sitting in Parliament. The singer, Macroft. Bring him on. Where are you?
Give me a hand, Lord, give me a hand. I want to deal with them politicians. For too damn long, my people dying. Politicians sit down and doing nothing. Brother, as they win election, that's it. They gone in the house to sit. So brother man, I'm getting harassed. I fed up with them back and sitting jokers. Why we can't get no better men? Man, it's too much of sitting in Parliament. Why you think the country hard like Banga? They're sitting in Parliament. You tell government with the same pressure. They're sitting in Parliament. So some say it's just you bring back massa. You're sitting in Parliament. Because you put African, same shit. You put Indian, same shit. You put Syrian, same shit. They're sitting on this, they're sitting on that. You're sitting in Parliament. Talking rap, tap, 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 tap. You're sitting in Parliament. Mr. President, he ain't catching you in none and by accident. No! There's too much of sitting in Parliament. To get material for this calypso, I went Parliament to get my info. For I had to get good information about all who's sitting for the station. They tell me Humphrey's the man for the poor, so Bjorn and Hawkins seeing God's law. Robbie and Pam them for Tobago. Rowley seeing about farmers cocoa. Ramesh for rapists and murderers. Pam them down in Central for great farmers. Big man like Patrick with PhD. What they doing? Sitting in Parliament. And he happened they sitting opposite him. What you doing? Sitting in Parliament. Between them they making poor people pay. Sitting in Parliament. And one is African, same shit. And one is Indian, same shit. You must understand, same shit. They're sitting on this, they're sitting on that. They're sitting in Parliament. Talking rat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat-tat. They're sitting in Parliament. Mr. President, this country is banned up by accident. No! There's too much of sitting in Parliament. Alright, what the whole thing? It's the what the whole thing. Get it? Ramesh and Tanga, they're digging blues. But they can't put their damn foot in Woolsey's shoes. Woolsey is a real woman of I have to ask Sunday where he boulders gone. Why Hulsi had to take the bull by the horn? Remember when Hulsi tattle water? The next day the whole country had water. Before that, she man could meet for girl. No water to watch the sunfish at all. Again. Fox, the whole country want to know. If it's love, you love our position, so you say how Patrick them taking all the lead and only giving opposition the boundary. Man is 30 years young in opposition. You start eating bone from Eric Williams. Silver Fox, you have brain, you ain't got that yet. You know it's born opposition does get. So if you want to sit on this country throne, I must advise you to stop knocking man in front.
Yeah. That was my bro. Yeah.
Thank you. Trinidad and Tobago really gone through. So what we vote for these big cities meant to do? At times Trinidad had money to come. Wicked politicians burn it until it's done. And now we end up in a sad state. Look how we country deteriorate. People afraid to walk in street after dark. Deep in your car before you put back. Calling watchman and them, you're making skylark. Police sitting right there when drop bar runs back. Man shooting down man like his money cool.
You're sitting in parliament.
And the toothless bulldog don't know what to do. What are they doing?
You're sitting in parliament.
Military and with guns making we do. What are they doing?
You're sitting in parliament.
You put African
Same shit.
put Indian census.
Same shit.
You put African.
Same shit.
They're sitting on this, they're sitting on that. What are you?
You're sitting in parliament.
Talking ra-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta. What you say?
You're sitting in parliament.
Mr. President, Mr. President, all them bandits they come here by accident. Now it's too much of sitting in parliament. God.
You're sitting in parliament.
Okay, this is fun.
Hey, hey, oi, oi. Hey, hey, oi, oi. In Trinidad and Tobago, politics was we and them. That was never meant to be so, according to the anthem. But ethnic insecurity was maintained to divide us by some people in the country to sow the seeds of distrust. But we have bought a new system within the community. Now what used to be we and them has now become only we. From now on this nation is we. From now on it is you and I. From now on it is unity. From now on we flying high. All the races have come together to build a better country and create a brighter future for the whole society. The we and them thing is no more, because it is plain to see in this country from shore to shore the community is we. No more we and them, from now on this nation is we. No more we and them, from now on this nation is we and we and we and we. From India and some came from Africa. Look today, their descendants are here, coexisting together. There are others who came here too, the Chinese, Syrians and such. Native people are just a few in this land that we love so much. But the politics of the day and the love for a party cause people to begin to say them is them and we is we. From now on this country is we. From now on we all shall be one. From now on that's how it shall be. From now on all division done. As today united we stand, the people of Trinbago. One country, one nation, one island. Chutney Pan and Calypso. It's Trinidad and Tobago, better known as TNT. And we want the whole world to know we see ourselves as we. No more we and them, from now on this nation is we. No more we and them, from now on this nation is we and we and we and we.
So folks, let me say a special hello to all. Let me know if you are hearing me. I'm actually, we are actually on a little experiment tonight. I am doing this live. I just got back from Florida and I'm doing this live in my car on my way to the studio. So if you can put in the comment, if you are hearing me, I see Ray Stelt, I see Nadia, I see Takesha. I saw Vonnie Roberts, Judy Descent, Judy welcome. I see Takesha. I see many of you. So just put a comment in the chat to let me know that you're hearing me. Right? Ray Stelt, I don't know what comment that is. Oh, they're giving him some time, laugh out loud. Oh, yeah, Ray Stelt. So you're hearing me. So that's good then, folks. I am actually on my way to the studio right now. So, I'll be talking to you guys while I'm driving here. And I'm trying to get Tommy to come in. Let me see if I could get Tommy to come in here. I'll invite guests. Tommy. Hey Tommy, how are you doing, man?
Well, I'm here, and I'm glad that you're up and running.
Yeah,
not in location, but you're up and running.
Yeah, we do a little experiment. Yeah, I'm actually in the car. I'm now coming out of Seton. We just arrived back on campus from Florida. So
how was the meet?
Oh, the meet was fantastic. It was really, really great. And it's always good when you go away with the kids and they do well. You know what I mean? So it was great. And I want to thank all those in the chat for being patient with us. So yes, I was just, while I was on the bus coming back to school, I was just running some music. So this is a good thought experiment that you could do live from the car. There's only one thing though, Tommy. I hope my battery don't go dead on me.
Well, you'll have to move fast and get to the studio.
Right. So if the battery goes dead, Tommy, you'll be on your own for a little bit. until
no
I
big
get
deal.
to the studio. Yeah.
No big deal, but
So I mean, I saw those people that came in. Let me say hello to Nadia. Let me say hello to Takesha, Vonnie Roberts, Joan. I think I saw Joan Jadubia in there. I saw Ray
yeah,
Stelt, in
Miss
there,
Cooper was
and
there.
yeah, I saw Miss Coover in too as well. So you could kind of, anybody else you say that was in, you could just tell them thank you for joining us here in the village with the DAT Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. And I have my instead of my picture, I just have my, what do you call it again, Tommy? My avatar. There we go. I have my avatar. So people seeing a different side of me tonight as well with my avatar. So Tommy boy, I see all kind of thing going on in Trinidad and Tobago.
Never a dull moment. Never a
Never,
dull moment.
never a dull moment, Tommy. And Tommy, I have to tell you, I am somewhat disappointed in the people of Trinidad and Tobago, because, and this is why we continue to be where we are, with not much improvement as we continue to put party before country.
Yep.
So the representative for Point-a-Pierre, the UNC representative for Point-a-Pierre, was charged by the police for misbehavior in public office, right? This is a charge. Now, everyone is innocent until proven guilty. He was given bail, standard bail, and he's out, and he will have his day in court. But Tommy, he was charged.
Which is the key word, charged.
He was charged.
That means it was determined that he was doing something that was not within the remit of the law.
Correct is right. Now, let's go to previous things that happened. Jack Warner was also put out from the UNC for him to go clear his name. Right? Gerald Ramdin was put out from the Senate for him to go clear his name. Right? Why is it now that we are not saying, you know what? Let Lee, MP Lee, go and clear his name. And when his name is cleared, all right, and they are still the opposition, or whatever it is, then he can be reappointed to the senators again. Why is that? And let me add, Tommy, Foster Cummins was never charged for anything. They were all allegations. All allegations. So now we can act on allegations. No, we cannot act on allegations. However, when you are charged, and I don't want to hear from people, oh God, the DPPs are PNM. How you know the DPPs are PNM? You ever went in the booth and see when you vote, who you vote for? How do you know that?
True. The truth be told, you're innocent until proven guilty, right?
Mm-hmm.
Even though you're charged. So that posture could be taken when it comes to asking him to clear his name, because it's clear he's going to have his day in court.
Tommy, before you do that, let me see if this is... Hello, Dr. Nedd, are you there?
Yes, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, Dr. Nedd, we are hearing you loud and clear.
Okay.
I'm sorry for having you waiting, but it's like we had a little chink in the armor with myself here coming back from Florida on a trip, and we're actually doing it. We have Tommy here. Tommy is part of the DAT Triplet, and you have myself and Sam. And we want to say to you, thank you for joining us tonight. How are you doing?
I'm all right. And I'm glad to be here, glad to be with your audience. It's a tough
Yeah.
time, but, we have to get through it.
Yeah. No, I appreciate you taking the time to actually come and join us, because in times like these, there's a lot of other people who've been telling us no. You understand? And we are very disappointed in them, in that prior to the election, there were a few people from your party who was on our station very often, and we allowed them to use the platform to say whatever they had to say and talk to whoever they have to talk to. And now things are a little tougher. They have said no to us and they have no interest in coming on our platform anymore. That is very disappointing. I just want you to know that. And I wanted to put that on the table. But be that as it may, right? So I know you were on other TV stations in Tobago, maybe as well as Trinidad. You know, tell us from a chairman perspective, right? What is your position on this whole thing that's going on here in Tobago? Give the people in the diaspora, from your perspective of chairman of the PDP, you know, what's going on in the PDP.
So let me again say good night. So this is a very intricate situation. I have a lot I could say that's actually very different to the way in which this has been portrayed in public. What I have seen in public on the media is this notion of Farley versus Watson, right? And in our minds on the executive, that's not really the concern at all, right? I would have made a statement regarding the whole matter. I don't know if you or your audience would have seen that statement that would have been in the media, and I would have shared it as a speech, but it seems as though it was taken in a certain light, which is totally against the direction in which we wish to go. And that is, on the first level, taking sides on the matter. That is not my role to take sides. That's on one side. And then the notion of how the THA is actually controlled, right? The chief sec would have mentioned that the THA is for the people, and therefore no party runs the THA, right? So I kind of want to start off just sort of speaking on those two issues, right? So from our perspective, the constitution of the party, right? That determines the hierarchy in the party. And in any party, right, the political leader, no matter who they are, if it was Farley Augustine or Watson Duke, we have to take the position that you must respect your political leader, right? It has huge implications when you don't do that because it destabilizes the whole structure of the party, as you see what is going on right now.
You're breaking up a little bit. You're breaking up a little bit.
But I'm hearing him clearly, Anselm.
Is there okay?
I'm hearing you clearly, Chairman.
Okay. All right. So I'll continue. Hopefully, Anselm can hear me better.
Yeah.
So that's on one side, right? We must understand that dynamic for the party and the membership of the party, and in some ways the viewing public on this whole matter that's going on. That is not really a point about what was said, because our concern was not what was said in terms of the THA, because we do not quote unquote legally run the THA as the party. We don't do that, right? But we have members who run the THA, and that goes to the second point, right, regarding the control. So I would have said that the party has some level of control over the THA. That is not a legal position, right? That is more along the lines of an ethical position. I'll give an example, and I'll use the PNM in this light. The former.
Yes, clear.
Okay.
Okay, go ahead. Then go ahead. Just let him go ahead. Go ahead.
So when the former political leader, that would have been Mr. Kelvin Charles,
yes,
right? So he would have lost to I think it was Miss Tracy Celestine Davidson.
Yes.
And what he did afterwards was subsequently resign as the chief secretary. Now, even then, people were confused. You heard people saying they are voting, this is in PNM elections, that they are voting for the chief secretary. That is legally incorrect, right? Because, in essence, Mr. Kelvin Charles didn't have to resign. There was nothing inside of the THA Act that forces him to resign, right? This is in a way in which the party influences what goes on inside of the THA by understanding. The understanding is whoever is the chief, the political leader of the PNM becomes the chief secretary, or they have the right to become the chief secretary. That's the idea, right? So this is an example of where there's party influence, but there's no legal indication that that should be the case. So we have the same idea. You have the party in terms of its goals and its aspirations. You cannot say that there's no influence when all of the members inside are under the banner of a party, right? You can't say that there's a separation because the persons inside there would do things differently based on the mandates or the manifesto under which they entered the assembly, right? So if you entered as the PNM, then you are following PNM mandates and the manifesto items. But if you enter as PDP, you are following PDP mandate items. And in so doing, you are liable for following through on the PDP mandate items accordingly. The only way in which we as a party could make sure is to have some level of oversight of what is going in there, because we got this mandate from the people. In fact, in a way, it's like the people's mandate. Many of our members would have stated this on the platform, their platforms. And so it is just the case that we aren't overshadowing the operations of the THA in any way, right? However, we need to account to the people that the mandate items that we all agreed to during elections are actually being followed through on. And you must have some sort of understanding with the THA. Again, this isn't legal. This is not in the THA Act. What we can do instead is have policies. And of course, there are no policies speaking to this at all. So these things need to be developed in the THA. If we care about this sort of oversight and transparency within the THA as it pertains to the party that put them in power, right? Because they would have
Yeah.
done this under us. So
But
those
does
two
it,
things are what I would start with. Go on.
okay, quick question. Doesn't it seem as if the way the rules were written, it was set up to put country before party?
Yes, yes. In fact, the rules were done in a way that allows for in this case 15 independent. They can be fully independent persons as assemblymen. That seems to be the case based on the way it's written, right? So all these 15 persons can come together, decide on who is their chief secretary, and run the assembly accordingly. However, because we are running in party politics, right? The dynamic of the party under which people would have voted you, you are now liable for in some way. It cannot be that members who run under a party banner can now operate purely separate and apart from any mandate items of the party. That seems strange to me.
But when it comes to THA business, we
Yeah.
know clearly who is in charge. In spite of the fact that one man may have started the party and he is the boss of the party, when it comes to THA business, he has to take instructions from the THA chief sec. Isn't that correct?
Right, and that is the strangeness in all of this, right? The dynamic is opposite in the party, right? Because we have in the THA, we have the deputy political leader, who's now former, being the chief secretary, and then the actual political leader being in some ways subordinate, right, to the chief secretary. In a way, that position can be queried, if you want to say subordinate, because he would have had to resign. Um, but that being said, it is not the highest position in the THA. So this is this weird dynamic. Again, it is very important how we got here, right? The chief sec would have been granted the right to run unopposed to become chief secretary, and that would have been granted by the political leader. But
I have to ask you. I have to ask your opinion on this. Do you believe that if all things being equal, the the leader of the party, if he was put up as chief sec, do you think the results of the election would have been the same?
Well, this is always the strange dynamic here. That during that time, there was that pressure placed on the situation by mostly our own support, and that choice, it's very hard to say if the political leader was put up that there would have been a loss necessarily. But the at the time, what it seems like is that there was more favor for the deputy political leader, and as such, it made more sense. It was a strategic choice in order to allow the deputy political leader to run the whole campaign towards becoming chief sec in both the January 2021 all the way up to December 2021.
Mr.
Right?
Ned, you've
So,
been on the floor. You on the ground. What do you say? What do you really believe as it pertains to whether or not putting Mr. Duke in the chief sec position would have won that election?
well, we're going down a line of perspective, right? And for me, in the discussion right now, given all that's going on, right, I have to be very careful on in the direction here, right?
Okay.
I don't know. I go with numbers. I don't have any numbers in front of me. The way in which I answered you, I think, is the best I can do on the matter, right? The issue going forward is the stability of the party in general, and that's where I stand. It's not really a battle of who is better between Mr. Fali Augustine or Mr. Watson Duke. We are all aware of both individuals. However, my concern, and especially in our media presentations, is to make the point that the existence of parties in Tobago have been failures since inception of the country in 1962. And there's a common thread, which is maintaining the longevity of the party. That's a common thread, right? What we have been doing is focusing very much so on the people who everybody loves, they like, and they vote accordingly. But then when there is any sort of falling out, whether it be with the person directly, whether it be within the party, differences in personalities, egos, whatever it is, the tendency is to destroy the party, lose the election, try and form another party, and repeat the process over and over again. So, what we have to do, if we are serious, is to take stock from parties that last for a long time, and they exist with horrible political leaders or wonderful political leaders. They decide to stay in existence, right? And you could look at examples such as Boris, I forgot his last name, in the UK, right? They did not destroy their party, right? They worked through it with him, and they eventually got rid of him based on the structure of the party accordingly, right? You have Trump in United States, same concept, right? After a while, the process within the party handles what's going on. The difference, though, with these examples is that we are a young party. And as a young party, you need some time to establish yourself. And it seems as though with all the other parties, there never seems to have a moment of teething where the party can settle, right just before that could possibly happen, the parties in some way dissolve or become non-functional, right? And we have to decide to keep the party running. As an executive, that is our role. We are administrators for the party, and we have to make sure that the party stands firm for the members and for the aims and values and aspirations of that party.
But
So that
but
is,
Dr. Ned, this is
yeah.
Ansem. I'm sorry. I was actually running into the studio and I got cut off while I was in the car. But Dr. Ned, let's be honest, right? Somebody has to start a party and people have to continue the tradition of that party. When you are going into the public space and telling people, well, I start this party and this is my party, and everything is I, it becomes difficult for people who are in that party for there to be I. There's no I in team, and there are many people started the Democratic Party, they started the Republican Party, they started the UNC, they started the PNM. Basdio Pandey started the UNC. Basdio Pandey is still alive. He's not a member of the UNC. I mean, you as chairman of the party, how does people resonate with the political leader telling people, well, I start this party, and because I start this party, it's either my way or the highway?
All right. So I'm not sure if the language you're using is exactly what was said by the political leader. And for me, it's always difficult to translate exactly what the political leader is saying. What I can speak to is exactly how the party has been run, right? And the way in which we've always had meetings, our executive meetings, has been a place for discussion, for bringing up problems and doing our best to resolve. In fact, I would have been part of many conciliation meetings for the party where Mr. Duke would have had to conciliate or allow for another opinion to take stock. In fact, many times we've had discussions where there's disagreements and another direction is chosen, different from the political leaders. So it's not as though we have a situation where the individual does not allow for another viewpoint. But what is going on here is not that. The issue is an ongoing issue, right, within the party that needs to be resolved. And it has taken this form that is a bit seemingly more emotional in context, but nonetheless still a problem. And what we intend to do is to have a party membership meeting of all those in good standing and fully resolve the matter, to have the all questions answered and to assure and reassure members on what really has been going on, because there are questions about the actions of the executive, the people saying that the executive hasn't been doing what they're supposed to do. And we have been fully true to all aspects of administration for this party, right? All decisions made in this party we have had adhered to and we have followed through with. So we can prove this because we have minutes from our meetings. I am very good about making sure that these things are sorted for the party, right? But there's a large discussion to explain exactly many of the points made on both sides, right? And in going forward, we will deal with this internally and get through it. In fact, the party looks extremely good going forward into Trinidad, right? We again, we it's not as though we have problems with the abilities of people. Many of our persons are doing their very best inside of the TH, and you are seeing some successes, right? But of course, we can improve. We've only been there under a year, and there's a lot more work to be done, right? But going forward, we have to handle our problems and move forward into other avenues. For example, Trinidad, and expanding past the borders of Trinidad and Tobago in order to push our mandate of building a better Tobago. This is the general reason why we all agreed to become PDP members. And the executive has stayed true to that, despite what people may see in public, right? The executive in the background has been doing the necessary work to make sure that our mandate is followed.
No,
However, Dr. Ned,
go ahead, Tommy.
don't you believe that the disunity would not augur well for inroads into Trinidad?
Disunity, of course. And that is why I started off by explaining about the value of the party, right? There is disunity in any party. That always happens. The whole point here is to make sure that the structure and the ideology is maintained, right? And you handle the problems accordingly based on the structure and the constitution of the party. Once this is done, you move on.
No, as chairman, how do you intend to resolve that issue to bring peace and unity back in? Because we always say this, how good and pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity.
Right.
I mean, I can go on with the whole code.
Right. So let me sort of say this, right? It is not as though we don't know the dynamic that we're trying to discuss, which is anti-PNM parties versus PNM parties, right? An observation I've had is that the anti-PNM parties seem to wish to have a level of perfection in order to maintain viability. And that's not true because we are people and we live and we have differences in personalities. So harmony will be nice, but it's not a requirement, right? There is professionalism, there are common goals, common dreams, common objectives. And if you can stay the course with that as a common theme, you can accomplish a lot. If it is that we have to decide that everybody must love each other and that we say everything perfectly at all times for all people, we are setting up a system that will always crash. Because I don't know anybody who is perfect. I am not perfect. I can make errors. And if it is that we cannot exist together for a common goal, then we are always going to fail and we are always going to, as we like to say, mash up, right? And then, as I pointed out, rinse and repeat. New party, new problems, mash up again, repeat. We need to stop that cycle of repeating failure, right? Because when we get it well, we do quite well. In general, the population of Tobago is more along the lines of an anti-PNM direction, only because of the ideologies. We have very similar ideologies. What we constantly bounce our heads on are the differences in methods to get things done, the egos, right? The feelings about each other. That's not very useful. And in this instance, it's just showing its face yet again. And we can get past it once we decide to sit down as adults and solve our problems. And we will get through it.
You know, Dr. Ned, the first time we was here, we like your calming, um, quality in this
Demeanor.
whole thing, eh? But you know, there is always some people, there's always sort of speculations, right? Like, for example, there are questions in the public space. Did the PDP executive meet to get rid of Farley, Alicia, and Faith as deputy political leaders? Based on the PDP constitution, was there a meeting in order for the executive to decide, well, listen, we voting and we getting rid of the THA chief, Faith B. Israel, and Alicia as deputy political leaders? Or based on your constitution, that is a decision that the political leader can make on his own?
Right. Based on the constitution of the party, the political leader makes that decision completely on his own. In fact, just understand that.
But Dr. Ned, he did say based on the executive, though. He did say that.
What do you mean based on the executive?
He said a meeting was held with the executive and it was decided that Farley, Faith, and Alicia will no longer be deputy political leaders of the PDP.
Right. So that's not quite right. What we did, we had a meeting, and in the meeting, he decided that the three would be removed.
Okay. Fair enough.
Right. Yeah. Right. So there was no voting, and there is no voting required.
Okay. Good. So with that in mind, staying on that, the deputy political leaders in Trinidad now, Kizzy, Jackson, Suzette Lowe. By the way, is Suzette Lowe still a deputy political leader in Trinidad?
I don't know. And right now, there are no deputy political leaders. They are interim deputy political leaders, right? They are formed under a subgroup of the party in order to operate within Trinidad, right?
So they are not,
go on.
So they didn't fall along the same line as Farley, Faith, and Alicia in Tobago. They were interim deputy political leaders.
Right. The three were always the highest level deputy political leaders in Tobago. None of the members in Trinidad are higher than the members in Tobago at all. They form a group that the political leader would have headed in order to manage actions for PDP within Trinidad, right? So this is why.
But Dr. Nedd, based on your constitution, you're allowed to have a deputy political leader and interim deputy political leaders?
What we have is a section for subgroups, right? And in that section, you are allowed to have membership that you define. So you can name them these names, but they don't come with exact how I put it, rules and functions that the exact positions above would have held. So you have what you kind of have is a kind of crossover. So you use the name in order to access the rules and functions, but you don't. It's not the exact same designation, right? So it's like I have a subgroup and I say communications officer. That is not the communications officer of the party, but a communications officer has certain rules and functions. So you are just sort of mimicking that title in order to say in the subgroup you're going to do something similar, right? That is sort of what is happening with the designations of deputy political leader in Trinidad, right? So you will hold those functions there, but it's under subgroup. It's not on the same level as the National Executive Council, right? This whole confusion is the reason why the party is in the midst of doing a constitutional reformation proceedings, right? So we fix all these issues and we formalize things so that everybody understand exactly if Miss Kizelle Jackson is a deputy political leader, we understand exactly where that falls. in the whole hierarchy of the party in a proper way. But currently, it's under a subgroup of the party.
Now, has there ever been an internal election in the PDP to select a political leader?
We only had the initial one. That was the summit, right? In the summit, the first one.
When was
we would
that?
have-
When was that? When was that?
That was in November of 2019.
Okay.
Right now, since then, the party has been constantly in turmoil as it pertains to elections. Right, so we would have gone straight into a general election, and then we would have gone straight into two THA elections, and we are now at the back end of that. So going forward, the party needs to find a way to establish itself properly administratively, right? And it's difficult to see the separation with the THA because that would have helped us out a lot. But we are moving forward to solidify several different needs and requirements for the administration of the party. And once that is done, then we could move into the other concerns such as internal election and rethinking the makeup of the executive as based on the constitutionally reformed, well, the reformed constitution rather.
Is there still an olive branch open to the THA chief, Faith and Alicia, in order to return to the party in some form as an executive, or as far as the PDP is concerned, they are no longer members of the PDP?
So the removal of the deputy political leaders is just that. That is not a removal from the party, right? In order to remove somebody from the party, you have to go through a disciplinary committee, or they can resign, right, from the party. That's always an option. No such action either way was done. So they are all members of the party. The party has many other sections that are available to them. They can re-enter the party in different ways. But of course, we need to be very careful because we need to understand that we must trust each other, that we must be willing to work with each other, that we're not going to do things like shift into other parties and destabilize the PDP even further. So all of these concerns are ripe, right, given the situation. And the individuals, I personally have had no issues with the individuals. It's just that there may be differences of opinions in this moment regarding leadership that we need to work out. And anything else, any other options in the party would be part of a discussion. It needs to be that way, right? If you're asking about reassignment into their original positions, again, that is based on the pleasure of the political leader. If he finds favor with any particular individuals, he can invite them to be deputy political leaders. And the reason for this is that the persons who are deputy political leaders, in essence, act as the political leader at the pleasure of the political leader. So it's very much so people that the political leader must find full favor in, and in so far as the rest of the executive, right? That whole decision would be left to the political leader as opposed to involving us. The way in which we are involved is we can give suggestions, but final decisions must be left to the political leader.
Now,
Yeah.
Dr. Nedd, according to the resident expert in Tobago, Hochul Charles, he indicated that what the PDP political leader thought that by removing Farley, Faith, and Alicia as deputy political leader of the PDP, they in turn would have resigned from the party. And by them resigning from the party, he could then expel them and invoke I think a subsection, there's a subsection of the Trinidad and Tobago Parliament, the Constitution of Trinidad and Tobago Parliament, that doesn't apply to the THA. And by expelling them, it would have called for a by-election, right? It would have called for a by-election for Farley, Alicia, and Faith. Did the PDP political leader got outmaneuvered on the chessboard, and he intentionally had to resign because he couldn't bring a no confidence motion against them because he wasn't going to win.
So I don't want to pontificate on that so much with Mr. Charles. He is very much versed on these things, and I can't quote in the same level. But what I would say is that the main rationale was a loss of confidence and a rethinking of the choices. He chose to do all three, right? Again, that is up to the political leader, right? And to rethink the persons who would be his deputy political leaders. That is the first instance of this. Anything else, that was part of the ongoing discourse in the public, meaning we are trying to find ways of solving a problem, and it's best to not foment the matter, right? It would be best to say, let's first talk. Let's sit down in the moment and figure out a way to get through this so that all parties can somewhat have some level of compromise and be able to move ahead. That was the primary goal moving forward. That may not have happened. I believe that talks were attempted and it didn't happen, and things would have escalated. I believe there were meetings within the executive council of the THA, and I am not privy to the exact details that occurred in there, but the result is, as we have seen in public from the former deputy chief secretary, right? So it's just that this is a lot of pontification about why X was done and why Y was done. I would just say that, at least in terms of our eyes, we needed to find some pathway, and we still need to find some pathway towards making sure that the
Are you still there?
Yeah, he got frozen a little bit. Dr. Nedd?
He froze.
Yeah, he froze. He froze. So, folks, we are just trying to. I want to apologize again for my lateness. I mean, I was actually, we got stuck in Florida, and then I thought I would have been here by 7 p.m. But it's what it is. But we have with us the chairman of the PDP, Dr. Sean Nedd. He's been here before, and he came back, and we just trying to. Are you there?
Yeah, now I'm back. I'm now hearing you.
All right. Yeah. So, Dr. Nedd, I hear you, right? You talking about trying to not foment the matter, and it makes a lot of sense. But we see in the news today that the political leader of the PDP is in St. Lucia, and the rhetoric is still the same. Nothing has changed, right?
But further to that, is he operating as a member of the THA, and is he continuing or trying to continue with the portfolio that he resigned from?
I can't answer that. What he is, he's not the deputy chief sec, so that's not possible. He resigned. What he is the political leader, and he's also a assemblyman in the THA. And I can't say under which portfolio he would have been operating. He's well within his rights as a citizen to act and operate to secure interests, right? And bring that to the public, as political leader or an assemblyman. right? And if there's some limitation, at least I am not aware that there's a limitation there, right? He would have started off doing his job as the deputy chief secretary, which included diaspora relations, foreign direct investment, policy development, energy, and intergovernment relationships. So that those were the things he wishes to pursue. So it seems as though he wishes to continue doing that, even in a different, on that different flag, if it would, right?
But doesn't the chief sec determine who does what in Tobago?
The portfolios of the assemblymen themselves.
Yes.
Again, I don't know if he was under that mantle when he went there, so I can't say what occurred there. Right? I haven't heard anything that said he did anything um, wrong per se as it pertains to the THA. Right? I haven't heard anything coming out from the THA regarding his actions as
You mean
an assemblyman.
when he went to now that he's in St. Lucia? But Dr. Nedd, we want you to stay with us for a short period. We want to go for a quick station identification. Can you stay with us?
Okay. All right.
Sure. So it's in the village with the DAT Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. We're going to go for a quick station identification. And we have with us tonight in the village the chairman of the PDP, Dr. Sean Nedd.
You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio, WZYE 95.9 FM.
We're back with you. It's in the village. 1 minute. We are back with you. It's in the village with the DAT Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. We have with us the chairman of the PDP, Dr. Sean Nedd, no stranger to WZYE 95.9 FM. And, he's very patiently, a very patient man, we have to say. And he's actually answering all the questions we put there. And we really appreciate that, that he took time here to come in the village to answer some of these tough questions, facing the PDP in Trinidad and Tobago. Because there are many, Dr. Nedd, many people, especially people in Tobago, who will like to see the PDP be successful. And this kind of, backbiting and backfighting, they're asking themselves, when it's going to end? When is all going to come together and PDP get back to the work that they need to do as people who are in the THA for the betterment of the people of Tobago?
So maybe I can answer it in a position of where we wish to go. Right? The party is always separated between the consistent goal of elections. Right? That's always any political party. The goal is to win an election. But there's also a section of the party that deals with socialization, the community, right? In some ways, you could think of it as an NGO, right? Now, this party is actually a registered NGO, and the party can accomplish a lot of things in the community without even being inside of the THA, right? So there is a role for this party, right, in general inside of the community. In fact, there is the potential for this party to raise so much funds that it can actually be a sort of shadow or parallel option to the THA, right? In so doing, we simply give our people here more options in life, right? So if it is that we wish to build something like a recreation center, right, sorely needed, the party may be able to accomplish this, or we can work with the THA to accomplish this. Who benefits would be the people in between. They have more options. So this is the the direction, the way, the reason why it's so important to think of what we're doing from the perspective of party development, right? And not that that word is so heavy. You could say more like organizational development, because what comes with that is a lot for the people of Tobago, right? So I'm hoping I'm getting to the meat of your question, right? It's just that you have your options in the THA and you have your options in the party. And
Yeah.
we want to make sure that all of these things are working. So we must get past the problems that we currently have in order to accomplish that. It's just that all of us must buy in to this image, this vision, right? This idea that makes sense. It is not a it's not a abstract idea. This can actually happen, but it means that everybody must stay the course, remain as a member, work with us to build out the party. All of the various arms of the party need to be built out. And once they are built out, we do the next steps of doing the work, right? And that's where we're at. That is, I just wanted to get that down the line thinking in it so that there's context in the answer and to your question.
But Dr. Nedd, the goal of the PDP was to win the Tobago House of Assembly. That goal was accomplished, right? Why would the PDP now try to mash up the THA when they are the THA?
So I'm not understanding why we're assuming that the PDP wants to destroy the THA.
Well, the political leader of the PDP is going out on the public and is bashing the THA, a part that he is a part of. You know, that's like someone in Trinidad in the PNM, a minister in the PNM, going out and bashing the PNM. All right, and the PNM is in charge. I mean,
Right.
I understand that.
So again, so this is where I always stay away from, because it's not helpful. Because now I have to speak on the mind of the political leader, which is not really my right to do so. Right? The political
You the
leader
chairman
has,
of the party, though. You the chairman of the
yes,
party.
but I don't speak for the mind of the political leader. I could speak to the direction of the party. That's what I could do, and I could say again, the aims of the party have not changed. The THA is not an aim in itself. The aim is to improve the lives of Tobagonians, right?
But that's
And
why you
using
won. That's why you guys
right,
won, and you
good,
put people in the assembly in order for them now to improve the lives of Tobagonians.
right. So I'm just pointing out that the aim wasn't just the THA, right? So then we have this down the line aim, which encompasses other things as well that the party itself needs to do. Right. So this is why I went into a long explanation of the value of the party. Right. So hence why all of my comments from my post as chair is to make sure we understand why the party itself needs to be kept in line and kept viable. The THA is a whole other discussion. The THA is currently run by the chief sec and whatever he does in his post as chief sec. Right? I have again I've pointed out that our role currently really is monitoring and making sure that the mandate items are occurring. That's what we want to see out of the THA. Once that's occurring, fine. We do reserve the right to critique. You can critique within a private setting or within a public setting. I wouldn't prefer a public setting, but you have the right to critique, right? But that being said, right, you still want to make sure that the end goals are met, that the mandate of the party is maintained, and it's actually worked upon within the THA, right? Once that's occurring, we're fine. Now we also have to work on the party, and that seems to be neglected. the whole discussion is always around the THA. We have to remember the value of the party. That's going to make sure that there may be more THA opportunities and further opportunities in city parliament and business, companies, and also international affairs. We can't do that by just having one term in the THA. You have to secure the party and make sure that the party is available as an engine for elections and for benefiting people on the ground.
But Dr. Nedd, if this sort of behavior continues, many people believe that the PDP will be a one-term party in the THA if this sort of back and forth continues. So for example, suppose the party believes one thing and the political leader of the party the feels that, nah, I don't believe what them want is what I want. Right? Again, there is a lot of, because there's too many eyes. There has to be we, because the party is about we at the end of the day. Because listen, political leaders come and political leaders go. That's just the way it is. Right? The party is a party for the people. The party is not a party for the political leader. You may think that, but eventually, just as how you come, it's just as where you can go. Right? Because the people are the one who elect you to be the political leader of the party. And if the people believe that they no longer want you to be the political leader of the party, right, they can get rid of you. It's supposed to be a democracy, right? And in a democracy, you are voted in, and if people are unhappy with you, you could be voted out. You know, so to me, it seemed like if there will be differences between the political leader and the party, and then differences between the political leader, the party, and the THA. So it seemed like, you know, we heading for a kind of cook up.
So I'm not quite getting it. What I had mentioned, if the idea is that you're saying that the political leader does not have the ability to work with people and to see
No, I'm not
other.
saying that. I'm not saying
All
that.
right. So
I'm not saying that.
so but that's what you mean if you say that there's a difference of opinion between
Well,
the
because we all
party
can have
and the,
differences of opinion, but we could come
right.
to
So
to some sort of agreement.
right. That is why I mentioned that you can have discussions. We've had such discussions before, and we've had differences of opinions, and we've worked through those differences and come to final conclusions. Right. So this is just normal discourse and an understanding of the hierarchy within the party, right? And as long as we pursue this in a reasonable discourse, I mean, you can have, let's say, vibrant discourse, if you may, that is allowed. But as long as we decide that we're sticking together and we understand that we head in the same direction, I am not seeing much of a problem per se, right? We do have a setup for elections. We do have, obviously, we in our constitution there is the term democratic socialization embedded within our constitution. We have to also remember, as I pointed out, that this party is young, and even as I explain all these things that the party is espousing, people do not read our constitution, even though they sign on to be members of the party, and so don't really understand exactly the value system of the party. And the party will need time to really explain and to really get people to understand what they are fully involved in, right? Beyond a person, right, or a group of persons. It has to be more than that in order to maintain the party going forward, as I would have explained.
Audio. We lost his audio.
Dr.
You
Nedd,
can't hear me?
is the PDP constitution public?
It has always been public, yes.
Where can someone get a copy of the PDP constitution?
Well, you can always ask any of us. That's never a problem. People who wish to join the party, then there's a form for that, and They can ask any of the executive members or any of the action group chairs or action group members to get a copy.
So
They
you
can
have to join to
also
get a
join.
copy. You have to join to
Well,
get a
you
copy.
can ask, as I said, you can ask. You can talk to one of us, and we can always send a copy. Usually, we have it available on soft copy that could be sent through WhatsApp.
Yeah,
That's the
because I
general
mean,
way.
I personally would like to get a copy of the PDP Constitution.
Okay.
Personally, because I mean, I have a copy of the UNC Constitution, I have a copy of the PNM Constitution, I do have a copy of the PEP Constitution, but we have Judy in here and Hailey. They can give me a copy of the PEP Constitution. I had to get a copy of the NTA Constitution because I like these things. I like to read through these things and to learn facts rather than just making stuff up. And Dr. Nedd, I know as chairman of this party, you have an uphill battle. You have an uphill battle. Well, Judy says, why not download? Why not it being on the internet and a person anybody can just download the Constitution. I mean, that's what she's asking.
So,
But
you want me to answer?
yeah, go ahead.
So, one of the issues with this party, as a young party, has always been finances. You would think that there would be typical things available, websites, right, the paraphernalia, etc. But these things have been difficult to get for various reasons. Um, we have the full intention to have a very robust website, but the ideas are framed, but we need money. There's a, it's the case that there's a lot of people who support us, but not financially, right? And I will say that because there may be people who say that they support, but I haven't seen the finances, right? That's all I will say on that. And as such, things like a website that you can just go to, I can just give you the website and you go on it, you download, you have, newsletters, you have pictures of what we've been doing, projects where all of these things need to be done on our website, right? And that requires setting up and maintenance and all the good stuff that goes along with our website, and that requires financing and support and the tech. So that's the issue with that. So in the meantime, what we do is to simply have a PDF of the Constitution available to send to persons.
Thank you. So, Vonnie, yes, I do have a copy of the PNM Constitution. I do. So, Dr. Nedd, we it just seemed as if, as much as the PDP is trying to bring things back in check, I mean, you're going to St. Lucia. You're still, I mean, you could let me try to kind of bring things back in order now. We understand there is some disagreement, there is some differences, but let me try to work for the benefit of the PDP, and I'm saying the PDP now, and the people of Tobago at the end of the day, because it's about the people of Tobago, and
Mhm.
the THA is the vehicle which is going to do what's necessary, of course, with constructive criticism to benefit the people of Tobago. Right? You agree with that?
Um, so you're bringing up the other items that's going on outside of the country, right? And
Yes.
how the political leader may have said something on those matters. Again, the political leader would have to speak on those things specifically. I stay away from that, right? The whole thing we want everybody to remember is that the party itself must be functional, right? We are talking about things like as if we have a full house, right? We want plumbing, but we didn't finish the bathroom, right? We want a pool, but we haven't finished building it, right? We want a kitchen, but everything is still being built, and we want full completeness in the way in which we operate and act. Right? I am just saying, let us get ourselves together, right? Rally around the aims, the goals of the party, and then from there we consistently improve ourselves, right? What we have to remember with the political leader, right, is he is a figure in himself, and he, through his actions, however you may see them, would have gained the party a lot of recognition and a lot of drive going forward, right? Of course, the chief sec would have done a lot of work himself, right? That is also true. But the political leader has and I would have shared this in my statement, he holds the burden of the party, right? He is the one that is attacked first, right? Throughout, all the way internationally. He is the one everybody is going to focus on. He has been taking on this burden and has been pushing the strategic direction of the party. That's his goal. That is his role. Continuously. And it is for us to, in the moment, as he is the political leader, rally around that and do our best to correct. An example of correction would be to help him in things like PR management and protocols and all these things, right? The party still is developing these things, right? This is the way in which how much we have to still do in order to make sure this party is solid. That's why I'm saying the house isn't finished, but we want all of the amenities of the house. Let us get that complete, and then we can really speak about how wonderful this party is as an entity that we can all rally around in full.
Dr. Nedd,
Yeah.
the, Dr. Nedd,
Yes. Mhm.
the chief engineer, or should I say the head engineer of the house, may need to consult or should consult with the architect when there are decisions to be made with the building of the house. The engineer cannot erratically just throw out and make decisions that would affect and upset the entire process. And that's how I see it. I believe, based on what was said tonight, that the the, the, the head of the party or the political leader made some decisions without adequate and proper consultation and advice that actually created more problems for the party and put the party in a position of disrepute, if you want to call it that, at this particular juncture, that needs to be corrected. I personally love your demeanor, that you're calm and you seem to be very calculated in your words, but you're gonna have quite a big job to sort out what's already been done due to a lack of consultation, probably with you.
And
Well,
let me
that.
let me
Mhm.
add to that,
Yeah.
Dr. Ned, before you go. Tommy and I, who live in this country, we were so happy that the
Elated.
PDP were talking about the diaspora. Because you may have many parties talk about the diaspora, and the political leader was in this country to talk to the diaspora. We were very happy about it. As a matter of fact, we was going to attend a meeting to listen to what he had to say.
Mhm.
But when we hear what came out with respect to the diaspora and these Tobagonians supposed to be living there and think, we say, you know what? Nah. And when the real story came out, it was disappointing, to be honest with you. It was very disappointing. Very disappointing. So here we are living in the diaspora, and we are saying, boy, the PDP being proactive, boy. They want to have an arm in the diaspora. Man, that's proactive, right? Because the PNM don't have an arm in the diaspora. They used to. I don't know if the UNC has an arm, right? I don't know if the NTA is going to have an arm. They appears to talk in diaspora as well. So the PDP would appear to be ahead of, ahead of the other groups. But then this come and happen. and mash up everything. Everything get mashed up.
We build harder.
So maybe I'm missing the question though. So I will say this, right? The There's always that dynamic. Mr. Duke has always been a fiery figure. On one hand, I believe he had a foreign direct investment diaspora meeting. I think it was in Brooklyn,
Yeah,
right? And
in the museum, the Brooklyn Museum.
in a museum, right? So from all accounts, I believe that was well received, right? And then
Dr.
we
Ned,
have
Dr. Ned, let me be honest with you. It was not well attended. Okay? It was not.
right. What I understood it was about 78 people came, right? So there's that the attendance, but I also know that there were discussions made with those people because the people that did show were very key people in the community, right? Who had a lot of ideas and suggestions for the political leader. But that's one that is an interaction that went well, even if it's two people or 100 people, right? So that's there. But then we have this incident with the same persons, and again, I stay away from it. But I'm just demonstrating the dichotomy here of the individual, right? And that needs to be worked with. We need to understand, right? We are in the middle of figuring out how best to move forward and work with each other and make sure that we don't have too many distractions, for the aims in which we wish to accomplish for the party, right? We have a lot ahead of us. There's a lot of potential here. We don't want to squander all the effort that it would have taken to get to this point for the party. A lot of effort was taken. Myself, I am a founding member of the party from since 2016. Right, I was an initial candidate, and then I became the chairman of the party. Right, put together the constitution itself. So I understand the concepts behind the constitution. So when I'm speaking about it, I understand the ideas behind what we wish to do. And this constitution was accepted by everybody. Those who are currently holding posts inside of the THA would have accepted all of these ideals and are supposed to be working towards them. So, we are looking very good. A lot of work has been put in, and we can expect a lot. But again, we have to stay the course. We need people involved, right? And we need to just get our finances in order and move ahead.
So Dr. Ned, what we do here in the village, right? We tend to give political parties in Trinidad advice, and they are kind of stubborn at first, but eventually they follow what we tell them. And I'll give you an example. We have all different people here in the village with the DAT Triplets and WZYE 95.9 FM, right? We give Pepper an advice and tell them, oh, listen, stop saying Philip will fix it and say Pep will fix it, right? Because when you say Philip will fix it, means it's a one-man gang. Pep did change, and they put now Pep will fix it instead of Philip will fix it. They still do Philip will fix it every once in a while, but they have Pep will fix it. So our advice here to the PDP, the advice is tell the political leader, stop telling the people it's my party and I form this party. Right? Stop telling people it's my party and I form this party. There are many people in this country. I work in the New York Stock Exchange for 23 years. And there are many people who started a company and they end up without the company. You see, when you're telling people that it's my and my and my and my, right? People start to lose faith in you because then it's about you and it's not about the party. So make it about the party and not about him, and tell him when he goes into the campaign and he's campaigning publicly, stop telling people it's my party and I form this party and I could do this. So people already know that and they don't want to hear that in 2022. So that is my advice to you in order for you to tell your political leader.
All right. I accept that. We can have a
Team
discussion.
team spirit.
Team spirit. Tell them team means together everyone achieves more. And you are team guy, Dr. Ned, I could tell.
Well,
Together.
again, right? I don't want to come away here saying that the political leader is not a team person. He is a team person, but I think the image that you're saying he's given off by saying those words is not projecting as such. So he may want to consider saying something a little bit along the lines of a team direction. I will
Correct,
take
correct.
it. I will take it that way.
That's
Yeah.
all. That's exactly right. You're a diplomat.
I try my best.
No. Stop saying you try your best. You do a fantabulous job of it. I have to be honest with you.
Very nice, calm personality.
Yeah, no, you do a great job, man. You do a great job, you laughing. You do a great job. You know what I mean? And but that's one thing when you're coming to the village, right? Seriously, we don't mix matters in the village. If you're coming in and trying to go, we are 956, it's not 6 we are saying 956, right?
956.
If you're trying to go, we are 956, we go call you out of it. You know what I mean? But we do appreciate, Dr. Nedd, that you took the time to come in and talk to us, because in these times here, other people are deciding that, you know what, I don't need to talk to them no more, because before the election we talk to them and everything and that's what we don't like about politicians. We want politicians to talk before the elections, and when the elections finish. And let me say this, I want to compliment Pastor Baines in your party, Niall George, who's the other guy, boy? I'm forgetting the other guy. And yourself. Three of them. We call them, we call them after the election, and they pick up their phone. We just call them. We just pick up the phone. Then we call them, and they pick up the phone, and we appreciate that. That is what we want in politicians. We want politicians, and listen, we know politicians are very busy. We know that, right? But they pick up the phone and they talk. One was fixing a tire somewhere in Tobago. He pick up the phone. He tell me, boy, fixing a tire. I say, all right, it's okay. Pastor Baines pick up. We even called Pastor Baines a few nights ago and he pick up the phone. So that's all we are saying. We are saying that when you get in power, right, don't forget how you get into power. And make it that it's about the people at the end of the day. Now, it's not every phone call you go pick up. I understand that, right? But just make it about the people. So I want to say for you to tell them that we appreciate them and we appreciate what they go do. However, your political leader told us he has no interest in coming on our program again. None. And that is it was the person who was dealing with him all the time, 40 times he come before, all in a sudden. And not only that, Dr. Nedd, but we invited him on 2 other occasions. He accepted, and he didn't have the common decency to send us a note and tell us that he couldn't make it. Unacceptable. But at least you know now. So, you can maybe give him a little message. That is all. But any closing words before you go?
Well, so going forward, I just want to remind everyone we are going to have a full PDP members meeting, right? We really need to update the membership on exactly what is going on, right? We understand that people are obviously going to feel sad and confused and angry, and the list of up and down the track emotions, right? And we need to resolve this. We need to find a common course that we can get on and stay that course. And I really believe that this is the conduit in order to get us there. And if we don't do this, we are relegated to that same cycle of destroy party and restart and never. There are zero examples that works. None. Right? There's none. It's just reminding people, stay the course, we are the party that everybody came to and they really seem to mesh with. So stay with us. Stay with us and we'll work through this problem together. Yeah, that's all.
So, Dr. Nedd, we want to say thank you so very kindly and thank you for taking the time to join us here in the village. It's appreciated.
Thank you. Thank you,
You
Dr.
too.
Nedd. You did a
Thank
great
you,
job.
guys. Thank you.
All right,
Yes,
take
yes.
care.
Keep up the good work.
Now, let me address my friend here in the chatter, my friend Cathy Jofield. Cathy, come on, man. Cathy, I expect better than you, Cathy. Come on. Cathy says, Anselm, you are no different from the chief secretary. Tommy, help me there. What does that mean, Tommy?
I don't know. That one hit me for 6.
Cathy, what do you mean by that? You see, I don't try to figure out what people mean by just what do you mean, Cathy, that I am no different from the chief secretary? What does that mean? I don't know what that means.
Was it Cathy who called the other night?
Yeah, that's Cathy who called the other night. Yes.
Well, Cathy had to realize all we want is harmony. It doesn't matter what happens behind closed doors. As long as there's harmony, that's what we want. We know that unity works a lot better than disunity. As a matter of fact, united you fall. Disunited you fall. United you stand. And what they're doing or what's going on isn't good. It isn't good.
No, it's not good. But you see that is the problem that we have. And I talked about this at the beginning of the show. You know, and I want to talk to the UNC people now. Why are you making excuses for Lee? He was charged. Let him go and clear his name, and when he clears his name, he can. If the United Congress is in government or in opposition, he can be reappointed as senator. Patrick Manning did that with Franklin Kahn. All you remember that?
Yep.
All you remember that? And look, Franklin Kahn was then come back to be Minister of Energy because his name was cleared. Eric Williams was in the same thing. He just decided he didn't want to come back in government and he went out of the country and make a lot of money. Same thing. But the UNC people are trying to defend. I had my good friend on Trini discussing relevant issues. Susan Jorowan, good friend, my UNC friend, a good UNC friend. Right? Susan said the man wasn't charged with nothing. I said, Susan, make it make sense now. Why do we have to defend? And I tell you, if PNM do wrong things, I calling them out. Foster Cummins wasn't charged with nothing. Marlene McDonald is before the court. She's before the court. Before she was charged with anything, she was removed.
True.
And I could be corrected on that. Maybe she was charged and then removed.
Yeah, she was charged. She was charged
and then removed, right?
That's right.
Right. So as soon as she was charged, she was removed. Go and clear your name, right? And you can come back. What's so wrong with that? That's why we are where we are today. All we're doing is defending party. All the time, defending party. And we keep on spinning top in ball, and the country going to hell in our waste basket. All you have to stop it. I just keep it real. Right? I'm keeping it real, man. So who is Lee? And listen to this. Kamala told Jack Warner, go and clear your name. She told Gerald Ramdin, go and clear your name. What is different now with Lee? What's different now with David Lee? What different now? All of a sudden. What's different?
But when he says something here, Mr. Lee was charged and he is still the owner of the vehicle. So that kind of...
Tommy, you see what I'm telling you? why you making an excuse? You're making an excuse. He was charged. He was charged. Was Foster Cummins charged?
No.
Was Faris Al-Wawi charged?
No.
They're bringing up all kind of names. Them fellas wasn't charged for nothing. And you know what? All of a sudden, the DPPs are paying him now. Wait now, he wasn't the DPP during when the UNC was there? Or he was only under the PNM? I don't know. Ask him, Tommy.
I'm not sure, but I think he's been DPP for a while now.
That's it. He's been DPP for a long time. When Marlene McDonald get charged, who was the DPP?
The same DPP we are dealing with.
No. It wasn't he. It was somebody else.
Yeah?
Huh?
Oh, yeah?
I don't know. I don't know. Yeah? So all right. Mr. Lee was charged and he still owned the vehicle. Okay. So what? So does that make the charge go away? Does it make it go away? He's still charged. Oh God, come on, man.
So basically what they're saying is on the record, he's the owner of the vehicle.
Yes, but he was charged. So all you know, what's in the record of the DPP? What the evidence the DPP have? Huh? We know what evidence the DPP has. I know that. I'm sure that David Lee attorneys are gonna know, but we don't know. Let him go clear his name and come back. Why is that so difficult, Tommy? Tommy helping a man.
Oh boy.
Why it's so difficult for the man, Mrs. Kamala Prasad Bessessa, to continue? And you know, there is something called precedent. The precedent was already set with Jack Warner and Gerald Ramdeen. You don't have to reinvent the wheel. It was already set. So all of a sudden, we make an excuse. Well, is he still owner of the vehicle? And so when the DPP charge him, didn't the DPP know that? Eh? DPP didn't know that.
DPP has to know what's going on. But they probably also saw the money transaction that put all the funds that were expended.
But you see, Julie, I understand you're agreeing with me, but this is it. We as civilians want the DPP to charge people when there's not enough evidence to charge them. You really think by the DPP saying on me and saying, boy, I ain't gonna charge you because he's a PNM. I go charge you because he's a UNC. I ain't gonna charge you because he's a NTA. I go charge you because he's a COP. I go charge you because he's a PDP. I ain't gonna charge you. Oh yeah, I don't believe that. I don't believe that. I do not.
Yeah, but Trinidad Mago said, I'm a PEP member and enjoy the platform. You guys are fair, even though you're obviously supporters of the PNM. Hence, I listen. You had to realize, Mago had to realize something, that we are country first. It doesn't matter which party is going to do the right thing.
Mm-hmm.
Country first.
Yeah, but listen to this. And Trinidad Mago, listen to this, Listen to this, I just tell people, I just tell you, I am a supporter of the PNM. But you know what? There are more PNM people that say, "Well, she does not PNM. Bring your card. Let me see your PNM card." And I simply tell them, when Dr. Rowley was in my house twice, he never asked me for my PNM card. How you go come and ask me for my PNM card? Eh? If the leader of the party asks me for my PNM card, use a little fly-by-night on 91.9 and you go come and ask me for my PNM card. I have to show you send Aisha a copy of your PNM card. Boy, look, don't let me cuss you.
Don't cuss. You gotta,
Don't cuss. I said,
no, you
cuss
gotta,
him.
the confession you gotta make for that.
Yeah, all right. I ain't gonna cuss him. Yeah, I ain't gonna cuss him. Yeah. But Trini Margo, when you come in the village, if the PNM have to get criticism for the betterment of the country, they go get it. If the UNC have to get criticism, they go get it. If the PDP have to get it, they go get it. If the NT have to get it, listen, Gary Griffith been in here, and I took Gary Griffith to task. I took Gary Griffith to task.
Now, Cathy J says, if you're posing questions for clarification, be balanced, not judgmental. Show professionalism.
What balance?
Cathy had to realize this. What we're working with is what we get. We're not making up anything. What's in front of us?
I want Cathy to state anything that I said was not factual.
What's in front of us is what we're working with. It's really sad.
I wanted to say anything that I said was not factual.
What's in front of us
And listen, I am not gonna say Cathy picking any sides. I'm not gonna say Cathy picking any sides. Because Cathy, you're right, it's to pick whichever side you want. That's your right. You're right, and anybody right when they come into it, it's to pick whichever side you want. If you want to be UNC, you want to be PDP, you want to be PDP, that's your right to pick a side.
And here in the village, we do one thing. We speak truth to power.
We speak truth to power. You may not like it, but we speak truth to power. When you go on other radio stations, they pro a party, right? And if you're going and talk about against their party, either they get rid of you, they don't read your comments. We just read most of the comments in here. Whether it's anti-PNM, pro-UNC, anti-PDP, because listen, that is what makes a better country. You want to listen to the same rhetoric all the time? Over and over? Same thing? Who sing that song? Benjai? I fed up at the same thing over and over. Same thing? What professional Cathy talking about? I don't know. No, Vonnie said, yes, he was charged, Wall Street. How long you think this case will go on for? I don't know. But look, the airport scandal went on for 20 years. Marlene McDonald case still going on. Right?
But we have seen a pattern, Anselm. A lot of these charges are brought, a lot of money is expended, and at the end of it, nothing comes out of it.
Right? What, Jack, when I've been fighting extradition, how long now? Years now?
Wow.
How many years? Right? When we go fix the judiciary in Trinidad and Tobago, when we go fix that? Judy says, Anselm, PNM will go against their very own corrupt ministers. Listen, if the PNM have corrupt ministers and they get caught, Marlene McDonald is before the court. If they are corrupt ministers, I don't care what party they're in, and the DPP have evidence to charge them, charge them. Plain talk, bad manners. Charge them. Have no mercy on them because it's for the betterment of the country. Make examples. Set precedents. Make examples. I see Cathy come back with the professional. Why is the no professionalism yet? Cathy like she gone on. Eh? Yeah.
Looks that way.
Politics becoming a soap opera.
It is.
Look,
It's been a soap
come back. So where you going?
It's been a soap opera.
Judy Margo says intelligent shows. and we don't come and make up stuff like another fella call a radio station and tell the host, You know, 75% of the people in Trinidad they go carry. Eh? You know that? And 98% of the people in Trinidad is literate. Not illiterate. Eh? When you're the top 3, Trinidad is in the top 3 in the Caribbean from a literary perspective. And that fella called a radio station and said 75% of the people can't read.
I think Trinidad is number 4, if I'm not mistaken. If my memory serves. Number 1 is
what's that?
Cuba. Number 1 is Cuba. Number 2 is Barbados. Number 3 is one of the other.
Yeah, Cuba is number 1, Barbados is number 2, and Trinidad is number 3. You're correct. You're absolutely correct. You're absolutely correct. Vonnie Roberts says, Wall Street, can you from your PNM contact, can you get the figures that the government have spent and what cases they have won? Vonnie, but we shifting the goalpost, man. We talking about David Lee. We talking about money the government spent. I ain't see a UNC person yet. I haven't seen it at all yet. I haven't seen a UNC person yet said that David Lee, go clear your name, and once your name is cleared, the political leader of the UNC can reappoint you as a senator. I ain't see that yet.
No, David Lee is not a senator. David Lee won a seat, which is Pointe-à-Pitre.
But he's also in the Senate.
He's a member. He's an MP for Pointe-à-Pitre.
Yeah, he's a member of parliament. But Kamala can't kick him out as an MP.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, but you could remove him as a senator.
As a is that true?
Well, somebody in chat could correct me. She can remove him as a senator.
I don't think he's a senator. He's the
chief whip for the UNC. Guys, correct me if I'm wrong.
Maybe the chief whip, but he's not senator. He's in the House of Representatives.
But Kamala can remove him as a senator.
I don't think he's a senator. Something doesn't in my head that tells me that.
All right, so folks, we have intelligent, sophisticated people in the chat who does always correct me when we go contrary.
Right, they know how the system works.
Yeah. Trini Margo says that's why I listen, and he says exactly. You know, because watch it. Look at we have Judy. Trini Margo says he's a pep, right? We have Judy, we have Trini Margo, and we have Hailey. We have had heated discussion, especially with Hailey, right? And we continue, we discuss it, and at the end of the day, certain things that we say maybe you could use, like how we told Dr. Nedd about Watson Duke. We told him, right? I mean, you don't have to listen to it. You could say them fellas in the money, like how Dr. Rowdy said them fellas is just rabble rousers. You understand? It's rabble rousers, only rabble running them out. They can say that. We don't have a problem with that. We keep it moving. What is that? Judy says she have a party, JBD. What is that, Judy? What's that, JBD? Yeah. Rennie, that's what I want to know, you know. But you see, no. Now, funny, yes, money is being spent on court cases. Lawyers are making their name. But funny, that is part of the cost whatever government they have in Trinidad. Spending monies on senior counsels. That's part of the cost. That's normal in Trinidad. Normal. Government come, government go. Them fellas making plenty money. We call them getting briefs. That's part of the cost. But when these citizens go stand up and say, you know, enough is enough, these citizens don't care what party in power. Huh? Rennie, Marlene McDonald get charged. How come you don't ever hear someone from the PNM getting charged? And are they still? No, Marlene McDonald get charged. Right? Did they charge Franklin Cantu? Did they charge Eric Williams?
That's right.
Them fellas get charged. They get charged. But it didn't stick. It didn't stick on Franklin Khan, deceased Franklin Khan, and Eric Williams. Right?
Ali
But
said,
Roberts- Go ahead.
Ali says the PDP drama dying down. So PNM had to do something to create a distraction. Bacchanal. I don't know highly.
What distraction they created?
I don't know.
But you know, Ali, did the PNM go and arrest David Lee? Did the PNM send the DPP and the DPP send the police to go and arrest David Lee? Is David Lee's his name, right?
That's it.
Did they send him to go and arrest him?
Judy says she thinks he's an MP.
No, he is an MP.
Yeah, but I don't think MP and Senate is two different things. Remember, Senate is non-elected.
So let me see. Let me Google it. Oh, Cathy called me. You know. I missed the call. Hold on. Cathy does only call when he's sure. All right, so Trini Margo says he's not a senator according to Wikipedia. Well, if he's not a senator, what Kamala will remove him from?
He's an MP. She can't force him.
She can't remove him as an MP?
What happened to Jack? He was an MP.
Jack get removed.
He was an MP. And he contested the seat and won it as an independent or
Hello?
ILP.
Look, Dr. Nedd just sent me the Constitution. Let me say thank you. PDP Constitution. He just sent it to me. Well, you see, that fella, folks, Dr. Nedd just sent me a copy of the PDP Constitution. You see? That's what it's about, man. That is what we do here in the village with the DAT Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. That just proves to you. It proves to you. We couldn't get a copy of the Constitution. I simply asked him for a copy of the Constitution. Now we have it. Now I could share it with all you. Right? So I could give all the information that all it didn't have before. That is what it's about. That is why when we come here, we don't come and talk about share the live. We up to 300. We want to get to 400. No, we're not on that. If we have 5 people and we can educate 2 of them out of the 5, that is what we are about. Yeah. Yes, Judy. Much appreciated. Dr. Nedd, thank you very kindly. That is what it's about. So now, any one of you all who want the PDP Constitution, I could share it with all you know. Look at that. Hey, Tommy, boy?
Yep.
Look at that, boy, Tommy.
Reliable.
Yeah, hello? Yes. You what? Wonderful. We have Kathy on the phone, you all. Go ahead, Kathy. Yeah. No. Yes. So we have a copy now. And Kathy, we agree with that 100%. We don't have a problem with that. We were just asking because we didn't know. No. I'm just saying that we were asking because we did not know, and Dr. Nedd clarified it and said that the people in Trinidad were not actually deputy political leaders; they were interim deputy political leaders, and it is at the whims of the political leader to appoint them as such. Kathy, can you call back? We gotta go for station identification. Kathy, can you call back? We're going. Yeah, okay, thanks. Yeah, okay. Folks, we're gonna go for a quick station identification. It's in the village with the DAT Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. We'll be right back.
You're listening to WZYE 95.9 FM. You are listening to WZYE 95.9 FM, the most influential name in Caribbean radio in the tri-state area. Broadcasting from East Orange, New Jersey, the most influential name in Caribbean radio, WZYE 95.9 FM.
We're back with you. It's in the village with the DAT Triplets on WZYE 95.9 FM. We come to every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. That's Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday from 7. You know, Tommy boy, I have to be honest with you. I like that we here have people from different parties, and even though we may be on different ends of the spectrum, right? They feel comfortable with us, Tommy. That
we don't disrespect them.
Yeah, and we don't disrespect them.
We never disrespect them, and we expect them to do the same to us, not disrespect them.
Yeah, okay, hold on. But listen, the phone gonna die. The phone gonna die. Yeah. No, it's a messenger, but my phone will die. My phone will die. And I don't want you to think I'll hang up on you. Okay, hold on. Go ahead. All right, go ahead. Hold on. Because hold on. Go ahead. Hold on. That's a minute. Okay, go ahead. Hold on. That's a minute. Let me. Hold on. Wait a minute.
Charger.
Okay, hold on a minute. Okay, go ahead. Yeah. Correct is right. Correct is right. Correct. You're absolutely correct. So, Kathy, thank you so much. I don't want your phone to die. Thank you so much. Okay. All right. Cool. Thank you. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm gonna try to plug in this phone here. You know, Tommy, I hear. But Tommy, you know something, Tommy, right? We have to call out politicians and them, man. Because
Every day.
you know, Watson Duke was a regular person on this platform here, right? And you go send a note telling somebody you're not interested, You're not interested.
We expected better.
We expected better, and you have to call them out. Call them out. You're not interested. So what happened? So just so you to just use people, right? And when you get elected now, you dust them by the side. Nah, unacceptable. And we go call you out. If you're vexed, you could lie down by it.
Disposable alliance.
Yeah. And people in Trinidad and Tobago have to stop allowing politicians to do them like that. Stop it. It's all you're supposed to stop them, you know. All you know. But if all you allow them to do it, they go do it with one, they go do it with two, and they go think they could do it with anybody. Right? Nah, unacceptable. So boy Tommy boy, again, I know the thing was kind of a rushing here. a rushing here. You know, I wanted to get on the program, but there is so much that I wanted to talk about. I didn't even we didn't even get to it, but I just want the people, right? Support your party. When your party going contrary, call them out. Call them out. That's the only way we go get what's better for Trinidad and Tobago. If your party going contrary, call them out. Don't defend your party by any means necessary. We ain't getting away with that. We're not getting anywhere. So we here are the examples. We are using ourselves as examples. And I'm not saying to you, if the party putting food on your table, to go and publicly call them out, because I don't want them to victimize and demonize you. Right? If they're putting food on your table and you're feeding your kids, it's okay if you keep silent. Because I don't want it to be where you're speaking truth to power and you are being jeopardized. I don't want that. Okay? Yeah, it's true, you know. Judy said, well, I mean, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know if Duke is ignorant. I don't think I will take it that far, to be honest with you. I wouldn't take it that far. Duke behavior is unacceptable. Yes, I think this is what Heidi actually means. Yeah, I try to talk for you. I try to talk for you. But Duke behavior is unacceptable indeed. If this is how they're behaving before in Parliament, can you imagine what's next? Same for GG too. I agree with that. And we told the people about GG too, you know. We tell them, you know. We just tell them, you know. Because other people don't tell them. That is the problem. They don't tell them. They just tell them go off naturally and leave them now, man. That is the way they are. That is the way they are. Oh God, you know the man. How the man go change? What you expect from me? Leave him now. Tommy the man so. Hey Tommy,
Right.
what you expect?
No, we have to hold up to a higher standard if we want better. If we
Correct.
want more the same, if we want more the same, then we just go along and get along.
Go along and get along. Yeah, if you want more of the same, you go just go along to get along. I'm not interested in going along. Listen, there has been no other person in Trinidad boisterous like me about a party that I support. None. Right? And if they continue to do things they ain't supposed to do, look, I put Schumacher. Let me go like what's Duke now. I put Schumacher Claventi on the map. It's I went and fight for the building. Right? It's I.
Oh boy.
Oh God. But it wasn't for me. It was for the people of Schumacher Claventel. Yeah, boy, Judy. Real people agreeing with you. Even Wayston says, Judy, well said, though. Well said, Judy. Well said.
Hey,
Yeah.
Nadia. going on.
We had to call them out. Nadia said you are so correct. We had to call them out because if we don't call them out, right, we could just leave it there and it go fester like a sore.
Yep.
You understand? And you know, a sore could become very dangerous. Very, very dangerous. Right? But all you, at the end of the day, we want people with open minds to come in the village and let me discuss ideas and solutions. That's what we want to discuss, ideas and solutions. You see? It doesn't matter where the solution and ideas coming from. The idea is that we want ideas and solutions for the country. Yeah, I don't know. Nadia, I don't know what we're talking about in shooting. I don't know. Look how long I hear. Ray, you better stop eating when you're supposed to drink, eh? Oh God! The man looking at cricket. Who playing by the way? TKR playing?
I think that's who's playing.
Yeah. Hey, don't they have the Calypso thing tonight? The Calypso semi-final? I think that's tonight.
Something.
Eh?
Independence. That's the Independence semi-final.
The Independence.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's tonight.
Judy, or TKR versus Jamaica. Judy, and you know what? I'm going to send Philip an invitation. I'll go send Philip. We had Philip in here before, you know, but I'll go send him my next invitation.
Of course, we had him before.
Yeah. And you know, Tommy boy, I really want to compliment Dr. Sean Nedd, the PDP chairman. Eh? He's an upstanding young man. Right? And if you do have the answers, he will tell you that is not my remit. I ain't answering that. I could deal with that.
And he stayed calm. He wasn't ruffled.
Calm.
Wasn't ruffled. He wasn't razzled.
Even the tough questions, he stayed calm. Well, but you know, Tommy, though, everybody has different personalities, though.
True.
So, folks, before we go, Ray Stout, Trini Margot, Judy, Nadia, Rennie Mohammed,
Takisha.
Hailey, who's that? Takisha, Vonnie Roberts, if you're still there. I called Trini Margot. We ain't see all right tonight. Put closing comments in the chat. You know, and folks in the chat, I want to say we do appreciate you guys, you know, being patient with us tonight. That's how we had a later start tonight. You know, it's really, we really appreciate you guys that, you know, you guys stay with us, you know, in spite of our late start tonight. You know, we really, from the bottom of our heart here at WZYE 95.9 FM, you know, we do appreciate all of you guys, that you guys stick with us.
What do you say before you go? I know Rich. Where you going, Anselm?
Who said that?
Ray Stelt.
Ray, you watched it. Ray, you watched it. Yeah, Trini Margot, you was diplomatic. You know, and sometimes in politics, you need a person with diplomacy. And you know something, eh? I didn't want to give him a next thing, eh? Watson Duke needs some advisors. I know if you could take the advice.
Of course.
But you need people he could bounce things off. Right? You need people he could bounce things off. Ray said he no reach. Ray, go and watch your game, eh? Yeah, we were closing ones too. Ray say he make a open comment. We were closing one too. Ray say we need a miracle, yes. I don't know, boy. I don't know. We might need a little more than a miracle. I don't know about Tommy, boy. Man say we need a miracle. Tommy, I want to thank you too, for your patience tonight and staying the course, eh? You know. Yeah. You know, Trinimago said something. Keep pressing. Wish more people in TNT will listen to this radio show. You know, Trinimago, we really appreciate that. We really appreciate that. You know, because, you know, anybody, if you support any party, you could come in the village and have a say. You could come here, type in your issue. If you want to call in, you could call in. We don't tell people to call in. If you want to call in, you could call. You want to send a voice note, you want to say. Now we play it, right? Because we want to hear from all different spectrums of people in Trinidad and Tobago. You see? We don't just want it to be a one party thing, you know, a one party station. All parties, but we tell you who we support. You know, we tell you who we support. You know. So Tommy, the closing words before you go.
Well, we are family, and family is not only who shares your blood. Family is who will shed blood for you. And
Correct, right.
I'll tell you this. I'm appreciative of everyone in this chat and everyone who listens. And I wish they continue to listen and contribute their opinions because it's very valuable to us. A pleasant good night to each and everyone. Be safe until our next session. Love you all.
Tommy, thank you so much, man. It's appreciated.
Thank you.
You know, because here in the village, as we have said from the beginning, all and sundries are welcome. Each and everyone is welcome in the village. And, you know, we have, we have Lana, we have Nadia, we have Takesha, we have Ray Stelt, you know, we have Hailey, we have Nutscake, we have Reddy Mohammed, Ray Stelt, I mean, we have Joan Jadubir, we have Trinidad Margot now, we have Judy, we have Miss Kuva. There is so much. We have Vonnie Roberts, right? We have Albert Montano, right? We have Tropics. We have so much people. A nice, small, close-knit family of many different parties. That's how we have to put it. I told you.
Point taken, many different parties, and that's what we need.
Of different parties.
We need diverse input.
Yeah, a diversity of parties in Trinidad and Tobago coming together, giving the opinion, and saying, but that all right, I can agree with that. I disagree with that. We do so. We disagree. And when people write the opinion, we disagree with them, but we disagree respectfully. And they come back with why they think this. We have entrepreneurs. We are Ulrich, who's the #1 entrepreneur in the village. Every day, like Ulrich getting a new business.
We commend them. We commend them every time.
Yeah. We commend them. But you know what? I have to show. We are Ellis. We are Ulrich. Yeah, Eileen. Yeah, Ellis, Ulrich. We have. It's not good when you start to get a name calling, because you might miss a few people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah. No.
Nadia said, "Blessed night, everyone. Stay safe. Stay blessed. Love you guys. Until same to you, Nadia. Thank you for being here with us."
Ray Stell says, my closing comment will be Trinidad is in dire need of more action and less talk. There's only so much this island could take before we collapse.
Trinidad Mago said, keep pressing. Keep pressing. Wish more people in TNT would listen. You read that before to this radio show.
Right. Judy says, thank you, Tommy. Always look forward to the village family.
Rennie says, we are all one people under the same sun. Peace and love to everyone.
Aileen has a good suggestion. Ansem, we need a debate with the different parties in the chat. Yeah. Aileen has a great idea. That's a great idea. Great idea. We need to do that. And that's what we need to do. You know, we need to discuss things. And we discuss things because, you know, we don't really discuss these things, you know. You know, we don't discuss this thing. We get in, we little cocoon, we little party cocoon, and that is it. We stay right there. Highly said,
Allow someone.
Go ahead.
Allow someone to the opportunity for them to get to know you, Mr. Watson. Do judge not, and the less you will be judged.
There you go.
Peace and love.
Thank you so much, man.
Thanks, Hailey.
Yeah, Rachel Ansem and Tommy, enjoy your weekend also. Thank you. Yeah, we read that one already. Okay. So we're gonna go to yeah, good night to you as well, Nadia. And to you, Hailey, and to you, we're gonna go out with Whole CX by David Rudder. So folks, enjoy your weekend. Let's get this one here as soon as I get this out of the way. YouTubers always want to play advertising in between. You know?
Yep.
No, it is go. Yeah.